While I was running my own design studio and starting these side projects, I sort of started a list of things that I've kind of like noticed and that I started believing in, and I think they're really important to me. So I keep asking myself, how did I get here, and how can I help my kids to get to this point where you really just, you can't wait to go to work. You're just so excited to, you know, do the things you do. So I started sort of a list of things I want to teach my children, sort of my little mantras, my things I believe in, my rules I believe in. And that list is 8 points long at this point. And the first one is do what you love. Yes. As I said, I love what I do. I barely distinguish between my personal life and my work life because I was able to kind of really turn my passions into my business. And I think it's really hard to, and it's a blessing if you early on are able to find that passion, that thing that really gets you excited. So I early on found my passion for just being creative, like my love for typography, my love for graphic design, and I went into that direction, which has helped me. Like being a graphic designer is a huge advantage to start your own businesses afterwards. So I'm thinking, what can I do to help my children to find their passion? What can I do to really help them listen to what makes them happy and maybe foster that? So I think finding what you love is not necessarily easy. And also you have to be very honest with yourself, because I have friends that are in very successful careers, but they absolutely hate what they do. Like they dread going to work. Yes, they make a lot of money, but I have some friends that admit it. They said, yes, I wish I could like sort of, you know, veer off my current career path, but I feel like I'm stuck because I have responsibilities. And I find that sad, because life is too short to not do what you love. My second rule is don't be a complainer, make things better. I have this personal rule that if I find myself complaining about the same thing over and over, I need to either let it go or do something about it. So if you look at my track record of projects or side projects I started that have turned into companies, they're all based out of that rule. Like I started a temporary tattoo business because I couldn't stand my daughter's temporary tattoos that she would bring home for birthday parties, right? I started a to-do app because I couldn't find the one that I wanted. I started a co-working space called Studio Mates because I just couldn't find the work environment that I envisioned. And I started a breakfast lecture series because I was tired of big bloated conferences that are too expensive and not accessible. And all of these things have turned into accidental businesses. So I really believe that as James Murphy from the LCD Sound System says it, the best way to complain is to make things. And that is really a lesson I want to teach my children. Lesson number 3 in my 8-point list is trust your intuition. I really feel that our society has become a little too dependent on numbers. Numbers are important, I don't question that, but I do feel that we need to be able to listen to our gut a little bit more. And all the really important decisions in my life, that looking back, have been gut decisions. And it's just like, it's something that I ask my children a lot, like, what does your gut say? Like when I can tell they're, like when my daughter is wavering on a, and it's interesting just to shift her mindset to sort of like, what is my body telling me? And it's just something I think that we just need to reconnect again. Point number 4 is if an opportunity scares you, you need to take it. So this is something I learned when about 10 years ago, I was working as a design director at ThinkMap, a very cool company, and I was invited to speak at my very first conference invitation ever. And I remember getting that email and getting like my heart rate went up, and especially when I saw that John Maeda was the keynote speaker. My instant reaction was no can do. Like, I can't do this, I've never spoken at a conference, English is not my first language. Like, I found all these excuses in my head, and especially John Maeda being the speaker, keynote, I can't. And then I remember going to bed at night and sort of being honest with myself again, saying, well, why am I saying I can't do that, right? I was just scared. I was totally scared. I thought, I'm going to make a fool out of myself. And then I really sort of like took the bull by the horns and said, you know what, I'm going to prove myself that I can do this. And I prepared like there's no tomorrow. I completely over-prepared, but I needed that for my own confidence. And then I remember coming off that stage after I spoke at the AGA conference in Seattle, and I was floating. I think that's how people feel after they run a marathon. I've never run one, but I guess that's probably the closest I will ever come to that feeling. And I remember walking towards my husband who was in the audience, and he knew how much I prepared and how nervous I was. And I walked towards him, and he also knew how much I admire John Maeda. So I walked towards him, and he's being all weird, and he keeps going like this. And I was like, why is he so weird? And then I turned around, and John Maeda ran after me after I came off the stage. And there he was standing, and he looks at me, and he goes, that was really inspiring. Thank you so much. And he walked off. And I think that's the only thing I remember from that day, because just getting John Maeda's blessing, which was such a big deal for me, was just like, that sealed the deal for me, right? And I told myself, if ever I'm scared again of something, but deep inside I knew that it would be a huge learning experience, I just need to do it.